Right, so the first thing, when we were holed up in this Airbnb in Leeds and recording the Angel of Light record, one of the many horror movies that we watched was Lair of the White Worm, which has been a favourite of mine for about 25 years. And it's another one of these ones where you're like, is this an amazing movie, or is this one of the worst movies I've ever seen? And the truth's probably somewhere in the middle, to be honest. It's made by Ken Russell, but Lair of the White Worm, it's got an amazing cast as well. It's got Amanda Donoghue, who plays one of the main protagonists, and Hugh Grant's actually in it, and so is Peter Capaldi, who's later to find fame in the thick of it, and as Doctor Who. But it's based on a Bram Stoker movie, but it is the most absurd and preposterous thing that you could possibly imagine. Just like Ken Russell's id and his most crazy imaginings were just running rampant all over this piece of celluloid. And I have to admit, I was quite chuffed. It was my idea to watch it. I was quite chuffed that the other lads were prepared to both watch it and also seem to enjoy it.
So Kevin was always talking about this film called Theatre of Blood with Vincent Price in it, and I hadn't seen that since I was a kid, and I'd always thought it was a Hammer film, but it actually isn't. Kitschy 70s horror movie. Vincent Price plays this wronged actor who he feels he's been wronged because he's the best actor that there is, and he doesn't kind of get the awards that he feels are justified. And we had an instrumental song, and Kev really wanted to write some lyrics about Theatre of Blood. So we sort of watched the movie a few times, and it's just insane. We've got, Vincent Price camping it up around the place, Diana Rigg playing his daughter, and they're just kind of killing off these critics, these theatre critics one by one in the most ridiculous ways possible. And we managed to get the word soiree into an Angel Witch song, which you never thought would happen. So thanks a lot, Vince.
Right, so another movie that we watched when we were recording Angel of Light was The Love Witch, which if nobody's seen, I'd heartily recommend as well. This is, for me, it's a genuinely great piece of work. It's the kind of brainchild of a woman called Anna Biller, who went to extraordinary lengths to try and make this movie like the absolutely perfect sort of late 60s trash kitsch kind of horror, sort of phantasmagoria. Very heavily influenced by stuff like Russ Meyer. But it's also a kind of strange kind of feminist parable as well. I mean, the central character, the Love Witch, is totally in control of the whole thing. Like that movie so much, they'd end up being a kind of loose inspiration for some of the lyrics that we came up with for the song Don't Turn Your Back on Angel of Light.
So we wrote this song, Death from Andromeda, and it's about an old novel Kevin read when he was a teenager called The Andromeda Strain, and he also was very into one called A from Andromeda. But the song is about the Andromeda Strain. So we started to sort of get into a sci-fi headspace when we were recording, and started to delve into old Doctor Who and just ridiculous things like Flash Gordon, the 80s remake, and just started to fall in love with the kind of the way that they were all made on, the smallest budgets you could imagine, and there was going to just be some guy there holding a piece of cardboard for a wall, or someone could put their hand through or something, and it just kind of looks so much better than these brilliant movies that get made now that are, I suppose they are on paper are brilliant, but kind of they lack the fun and they lack the eccentricity.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously we're in an era where like Marvel movies are the hot topic, and you're looking at stuff. When you go down a film credits list now and you see the amount of people responsible for the CGI, it stretches to like 5 or 6 hundred different people. And what we were kind of trying to hark back on Death from Andromeda was more like the sort of classic era of, particularly Doctor Who for me, because I mean that's my only real serious sci-fi voice is Doctor Who. And in those days, the monsters would be literally a massive load of bubble wrap crawling along the ground. But that would still, as a child, be absolutely terrifying. So we were kind of, I guess we were trying to get it back in touch with that whole kind of world and that whole kind of vibe with Death from Andromeda. So in a sense it is meant to be look like something that's done on a tiny budget, but at the same time has the abilities to sort of take you somewhere else. So that was kind of what we were going for.